Hello, here we go with video number 2, chapter 1-7. We're on the second page and we just finished up number 11 and we're moving right along to number 12 here. So let's take a look at what's going on with this particular question. It says, well, what is the simplified form of 12 times the quantity? I just got a text message. We'll ignore that. 12 times the quantity 3 minus 1/6 x. And then number 12 here says complete the steps to simplify the expression. So since the 12 is outside, right, we're going to multiply it by the 3. So you have 12 times 3 minus sign goes right there. And then you go 12 times 1/6 t, which is 12 times 1/6 t. Okay, and then you would just do some math here. 12 times 3, 36. 12 times 1/6. All right, that's 12 over 6 times 12. I'm sorry, 12 over 6 times t. And then we would go ahead, we have to simplify this part right here because 12 divided by 6 we can simplify. 12 divided by 6 is 2, so we need to go ahead and divide that out. We'd have 36 minus 2 times t, and we would write it really like this, 36 minus 2t, or really in algebra what we do is we put the constant value on the end, so the best answer is really that one right there, negative 2t plus 36, because there's something called standard form where you put the constant all the way to the right, but we actually will talk about that a little bit later there. Okay, now don't be deceived with these guided notes here as we try to teach you what we're doing. You actually have to, for me right now, you need to write all this down on your paper when I ask you to show me your work. At this point, I'll ease up a little bit. For right now, I want to see what's going on in your head. So show me all of these things, even the pieces that they have printed on your paper. All right. And let's move along to page, did I go too far there? Did I skip one page? I did go too far. Page 3 is where we are now. And again, I need to get my shade back. I don't know why it's leaving me. I put it there earlier. And we can go back to our full screen. On page 3, they say, what sum or difference is equivalent to 4x minus 16 over 3? All right, let's see what's going on with this problem. Well, 13 here, they're trying to give you some clues. It says recall, okay, that the fraction a over b can be written as 1 over b times a. Okay, so if you have a fraction, all right, you can break it up like that. Here's another example if that completely lost you. If I have 3/4, this is an example, I could say that that is the same thing as 1/4 times 3. Okay, so that's what they're showing you right here. All right, so they're showing you that, and we're going to use that idea to understand what to do with this 3 right here. That's like 1/3. Okay, so that number in the denominator, all right, is the number that became 1 over. So here you can think of this 4x over 3, right? You can think of that as 4x over 3, or you can think of it as 1 over 3 times 4x. So you need to write on your paper, 1/3 times 4x is the same thing as 4/3 over x. Well, when you have this type of a problem, the thing is the 16 is also being divided by 3. All right, when you have that there, so you have to kind of think of it like what they're trying to show you here is that that 3 there is like 1/3 being distributed. All right, you look right here if I've lost you there. 4x minus 16 over 3 means that it's like 1/3 times 4x over 16. Okay, and they're trying to explain it right here. If you think of it, think of that division problem, because really that is a division problem right there. If you think of that as multiplication, Right? This is what's happening. This 1/3 has to be distributed to the 4x and the 16. So 1/3 times 4x, so 1/3 will go right there, and 1/3 will go right there. And so now you just have to simplify that out. 1/3 times 4x, okay, that's 1/3 times 4. Okay, well 1/3 times 4 is 4/3. So you have 4/3 times x and 16/3 right there. Now at this point, you can just leave that as your answer. Those are, I believe those are irrational values. So just leave it as a fraction right there. Make sure it's reduced or simplified completely right there for you. All right. Now a little information about a property that we looked at earlier. The multiplication property of -1 states that -1 times x is equal to the opposite of x, or -x. So if you had to do the same thing to simplify an expression like this, yes, this one is often mistaken here. All right, rewrite it like this. See what they did? They put a -1 right in there. It's -1x. So here, I'll try to clean it up. If you have negative parenthesis x plus 6, what you want to do is just stick a 1 right there and think of that as -1. And that -1 is now going to be distributed to simplify that. And this is actually a really common mistake. So let's take a look at number 15 and see how we would use that idea to simplify it and hopefully prevent errors. This is a common one where we have mistakes. It says, underline the correct word to complete the sentence. A negative sign in front of the parenthesis means that the entire expression inside the parentheses is the opposite. Okay? So the negative sign in front, right there, all right, means that the entire expression inside is the opposite. Here's what's happening. Here's 16 is trying to explain that point right here. Here's the negative parenthesis a plus 5. Here they put in the -1. You'll want to do that on your paper. Okay, you want to write that down. Okay, and then that's the multiplication property of -1. We saw that on the first page. So what happens is that -1 gets distributed there, and you have -1a plus -1 times 5. So look what happens. -1 times a is -a plus -1/5. That's -5. So it's -a plus, I'm sorry, -a minus 5, or you could say -a plus -5 as well. So if you were doing that problem on your homework, this is what it would look like. Okay, you would copy it down. You don't have to recopy this part that I'm writing right now. I just want you to see, even though they're trying to prevent you writing so much in your notes, this is what I would want to see on your homework. Okay, if you had this problem, you would distribute that and have -a, and you would distribute that and have -5. And I would actually accept that answer there, or you could rewrite that as -a minus 5, which is the same thing. So either one of those is really correct. But you have to show me that at this point, because I've got to see what's going on in your head. Please do that. All right, let's try one more here, and then we'll probably save one more video for that last page. Here we go. All right, Julia commutes to work on a train 4 times a week. A round-trip ticket costs $7.25. What is her weekly cost for tickets? Use mental math. Well, let's see what they do here. It's really interesting. They say use mental math, and then they work it out for you. Well, they're probably wanting you to do the mental math first and then go ahead and fill in your notes. At this point here, oh, this is an interesting one. They go 4 times 7.25 is simplified below using steps that could be used to do the problem mentally. Complete the missing parts. So what they're trying to do here is show you, you could do this multiplication in your head, and the distributive property is how. You're going 4 times 7.25. Well, that might sound a little bit complicated. Well, if you could do this in your head, break up the 7.25 into these two numbers. 7, so fill in 0.25 there, and here they're explaining it. Well, if you could multiply that out in your head where you're going 4 times 7, well, you could probably do 4 times 7 in your head and get 28. And then 4 times 0.25, think of that as 4 quarters. 4 times 0.25 is 1. That comes out to be 29. So the point of this question is how the distributive property can be used to do strange multiplication in your head. If you can, what they did is they broke up that decimal value there and did that, and hopefully that makes kind of sense to you. It's a nice skill to have, and you should practice it if they ask you to do that. Excellent brain opportunity for you. So I'm going to have to stop it here, and hopefully the next video will be a short one, and then that'll wrap up the notes for this section. All right, peace.